Good morning, everyone. It's Robert from On My Turntable. Hope you're having a great morning this morning. It is Saturday morning. As always, a coffee kind of morning. Hope everyone's doing well. I wanted to show you, I think Chris Profi showed this earlier, not too long ago. This great new album by Deep Purple. This is Turning to Crime. All covers. Great album. Before I get into it though, I'm going to start from the beginning because they're my favorite band ever. And before I get into that, please hit the like and subscribe button below. Thank you to all that have liked and subscribed so far. I greatly appreciate it. I want to continue to put great content out there to be informative and to show you guys some great bands and artists that I have in my collection. It's because of you guys, your likes, your subscriptions, your wonderful comments that keep me going, keep me motivated to do this kind of thing, and I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, so before I get into this album here, I thought I'd take a trip back and show you all my Deep Purple albums that I have because, again, they're my favorite band other than the Beatles. Beatles are a class of their own. This was also, if I remember, 2 years ago, my first video ever, and it was just a mess. It's like a Japanese movie. The voices were different than the... Anyway, so I thought I'd redo it, and I kept it there. I haven't even changed it, but I'm going to just do this one, hopefully much better. So Deep Purple themselves, English rock band formed in 1968. Pioneers of heavy metal and hard rock, for sure. Originally a progressive rock band and a psychedelic rock band as well. With the Mark I version of the band, there's been so many lineup changes from this band, but the staples kind of remain the same. 100 million albums sold worldwide. It's just a remarkable feat. 22 studio albums, tons of live albums, tons of greatest hits. Again, my favorite band for sure. So starting from the beginning, this is their first album, Shades of Deep Purple. It's on the Polydor label. It has Rod Evans as lead singer, Nick Simper on bass, Richie Blackmore on lead guitar, Ian Pace on drums, which is still the original member of the band. That hasn't changed ever. And John Lord on keyboards, the great John Lord. They start off the album with And the Address, which is an instrumental, which happens to be on their 2020 album, Whoosh. They end with that album. So there was talk and speculation that that may be their last album. As far as a original album, I mean, these are all covers in this one. So I don't know what that means, but it's a great album. I love this one. But yeah, Shades of Deep Purple. Fantastic album. There's the early photo of these guys. You've got the great cover of Hush on this one by Joe South. One More Rainy Day, which is an original. You got Happiness, I'm So Glad, Mandrake Root. They do a cover of Help by the Beatles. They do Love Help Me, and they do a cover of Hey Joe, which is made famous by Jimi Hendrix. Great album. Fantastic debut album. 1968. Only recorded in 3 days, which was remarkable feat back then. And their second album, Book of Taliesin, or Taliesin, again on the Polydor label. Mixture of covers and originals again. Second album by the band, 1969 release, 3 months after their debut album, again, which is another feat. Again, another continuation of psychedelic rock and progressive rock. Kentucky Woman, the big hit off of this one. There's the boys there. Again, with the same Mark I lineup. Nick Simper, Rod Evans, Ian Pace, Richie Blackmore and John Lord. So you've got Listen, Learn, Read On, Hard Road, Kentucky Woman by Neil Diamond, which is a great cover, Exposition, We Can Work It Out, another Lennon McCartney cover, The Shield, Anthem, and the great song River Deep Mountain High by Spector. Great second album. Really, really good stuff. Their third album, which is a fantastic album. This one happens to be on the Tetragrammaton label, which is, you don't see that label too often. This is their self-titled debut, or Deep Purple 3, as some people call it. 1969 release. Little harder edged album on this one. And again, the same lineup, the Mark I lineup. But Richie Blackmore at the time was getting a little, he wanted a harder sound. And Rod Evans just didn't have the pipes to do the big arena rock album. So, unbeknownst to him, they found this lead singer called Ian Gillan, which was remarkable vocals, one of the best in rock history. And they also found a heavier bass in Roger Glover. So unbeknownst again to Rod Evans and Nick Simper, they were kind of out of the band without even realizing it after this album. And Ian Gillan and Roger Glover were in. They put out this opus of a band, of an album called In Rock. Super heavy rock album. It is fantastic. 1970 release, fourth album by the band. The Mark II lineup now. Again with Ian Gillan on vocals, Roger Glover on bass, replacing Nick Simper and Rod Evans. Richie Blackmore on guitars, John Lord on keyboards, and Ian Pace on drums. Amazing stuff. And they would remain the Mark II version for a bit. But this one's right off the bat, Speed King, heavy track. You got Bloodsucker, The Amazing, Child in Time, kind of their Stairway to Heaven. Starts out slow, wild, amazing vocals by Ian Gillan. Into the Fire, Living Wreck, Hard Lovin' Man. Amazing stuff. Fantastic stuff. Their fourth studio album with the new lineup, the Mark II lineup. Heavier sound, gone are the psychedelia and the progressive aspects to their music, and the beginnings of early heavy metal and hard rock. Just wonderful stuff. Next came Fireball. This is the remastered version, or the 25th anniversary of this one. Yeah, the 25th anniversary version of this one. There's the original cover on that one. 1971 release, the fifth album by the band. The second in the Mark II lineup. You got Strange Kind of Woman, the title track Fireball, No, Demon's Eye, Anyone's Daughter, The Mule Fool, and No One Came. There's also some bonus tracks on this one as well, and different outtakes. Yeah, great album in Fireball. Fantastic stuff. The fifth album. And then one of my all-time favorite albums by the band, or ever, is, and I've got two copies. I've got the 25th anniversary of this one as well. This is Machine Head. This one has side one is the original album. Side two is alternate guitar solos. I prefer side one because that's what I know. I also have a great copy of the album as well on vinyl. Again, one of my favorites. I know this one from start to finish. So Machine Head, 1972 release, one of my favorite albums ever. Recorded in Montreux, Switzerland. You got Never Before, Maybe I'm a Leo, Pictures of Home, Lazy, Highway Star, Space Truckin', and of course Smoke on the Water. Every kid's dream to learn how to play guitar. Smoke on the Water drove every music store crazy, I'm sure. Based on real facts, some stupid with a flare gun went into a casino on Lake Geneva during a Frank Zappa concert. Deep Purple was in the lineup as well, and pretty much blew the place to the ground with a flare gun, which was so stupid. But it was, again, that's what Smoke on the Water is about. But the deep tracks, maybe I'm a Leo, and Never Before, and Pictures of Home, just fantastic stuff. These guys were at their prime at the time. Amazing, amazing stuff. Again, one of my favorite albums ever, made in Japan. And there's what they had to convert to a Rolling Stones mobile unit, so that's what they look like, just the crammed settings of their recording, which was cool stuff. They released this great live album, one of the best live albums ever. This is Made in Japan. Not soon after Machine Head, 1974 release, or 1972 release, sorry. I'm pretty sure 1972. Yeah, August of 1972. And you've got Highway Star, Child in Time, Strange Kind of Woman, Lazy, Smoke on the Water, The Mule, and side 4 is all Space Truckin'. Just remarkable, remarkable stuff. Again, one of the best live albums ever. Then they came out with their 7th album. I've got 2 copies of this one. This is Who Do We Think We Are? Released in 1973. I also have a copy that has some signatures on it by the band. This was a BCLT by a fantastic member of the vinyl community. This would also be the last to feature Ian Gillan and Roger Glover, and they wouldn't return until Perfect Strangers album in 1984. So at that 11 years later. Big hit, Woman from Tokyo on this one. Super Trooper. More of a blues-based album. Some say not their best. I love this album. I think it's fantastic. I love all their albums, but great, great album. Then we have their 8th studio album, Burn. I have this one. I also have a CD copy of Burn. This would be the Mark III version of the band. The first to feature David Coverdale, basically an unknown at the time, who went on to form Whitesnake and all that other stuff. And also Glenn Hughes from the band Trapeze on bass and vocals. Again, the first of the Mark III lineup. The remaining members still the same. Roger Glover, sorry, not Roger Glover, Richie Blackmore, Ian Gillan, and John Lord still remain the same. You got the title track, Burn. You just might want to take your life, lay down, stay down, sail away, you fool no one, what's going on here, mistreated, A200. Now on this one there's some bonus tracks as well. But fantastic, fantastic album. And Burn. Pardon me. Then we have 1974's Stormbringer. Another great album. 9th album by the Purple The second with the Mark III lineup, you got Stormbringer, great track. Love Don't Mean a Thing, Holy Man, Hold On, Lady Double Dealer, You Can't Do It Right with the One You Love, Highball Shooter, The Gypsy, and Soldiers of Fortune. Really, really good stuff. Then there's Come Taste the Band, 10th album by the band. The final album by Deep Purple for a bit. They would break up in 1976. The only one to feature Tommy Bolin on guitar, who would replace Ritchie Blackmore, who had left the band. Unfortunately, Tommy Bolin passed away not long, actually just before the album was released. He was kind of a mess, but a fantastic artist in his own right, great guitar player. And the last to feature David Coverdale and Glenn Hughes. So the end of the Mark III version of the band. But great, great album. Happy to have this one for sure. You've got Coming Home, Lady Luck, Getting Tighter, sorry, Dealer, I Need Love, Drifter, Love Child, This Time Around, Own to G, which is an instrumental, and You Keep Moving On. You keep on moving. I'm a little dyslexic this morning. Then they put out this Greatest Hits in 1976. Deepest Purple, the very best of Deep Purple. All their greatest hits to date. This is a Canadian version of it. It's cool that they've got Ritchie Blackmore, John Lord, Glenn Hughes, Roger Glover, David Coverdale, Ian Gillan, and Ian Pace, all pictured on this one as well. So you've got Black Knight, Speed King, Fireball, Strange Kind of Woman, Child in Time, Woman from Tokyo, Highway Star, Space Truckin', Burn, Stormbringer, Demon's Eye, and Smoke on the Water. So a little bit of the Mark II and Mark III versions of the band on this one. And then one of my favorite albums. This is the band coming back together again, the Mark II version of the band coming back together to form Perfect Strangers. This is a fantastic album. Really, really good stuff. The 11th album by the band and 1984 release, their most successful album as well, by the reformed Mark II version. The first album since 1975. Ritchie Blackmore and Roger Glover were with Rainbow. They came back. Ian Gillan was with Black Sabbath for an album. He came back. John Lord was with Whitesnake, and Ian Pace was with the Gary Moore backup band. So they all came back for this amazing, I don't know, new version of the band, but an old version in the Mark II version. But they sounded fantastic. You got Knocking at My Back Door, Under the Gun, No One's Home, Mean Streak, Perfect Strangers, A Gypsy's Kiss, Wasted Sunset, and Hungry Days. Just a wonderful, wonderful comeback album. Whoops, sorry. Perfect Strangers. Then you got House of Blue Light, the 12th album by the band. 1987 release, and the second with the reformed Mark II version. The band wasn't really into it at the time. They were tired. They were thinking maybe it wasn't a good idea to come back. But the album still became a success. It still did commercially quite not too bad. Still hit number 10 in the UK, number 34 in the States. You got Bad Attitude, The Unwritten Law, Call of the Wild, Mad Dog, Black and White, Hard Lovin' Woman, The Spanish Archer, Strange Ways, Mitzi Dupree, and Dead or Alive as the songs on this one. And then from this little cute little box set here, there's 3 studio albums in here. You've got 13 studio albums, Slaves and Masters, 1990 release, and the only one to feature Jolene Turner, as Ian Gillan had left the band again. Him and Ritchie Blackmore were famous for not getting along. They considered having Jimmy Jameson from Survivor as the lead singer, but they chose Jolene Turner. Not their best album. but not a bad album either. But the tour itself for this album was pretty darn good. There's the band there. You got King of Dreams, The Cut Runs Deep, Fire in the Basement, Truth Hurts, Breakfast in Bed, Love Conquers All, Fortune Teller, Too Much Is Not Enough, and Wicked Ways. Great, great stuff for that one. So after that, they would bring out The Battle Rages On, 14th album by the band, 1993 release, the last of the Mark II version. Joan Lynn Turner was fired, Ian Gillan came back, but it would also be the last to feature Ritchie Blackmore. He just had enough. So they brought in Joe Satriani to tour to promote the album, which was a cool thing, but that didn't last long. He was just there as a temporary backup, but great, great album, The Battle Rages On. Again, it's kind of the title, the title speaks for itself. And then their 15th album, Perpendicular, one of my favorites, 1996 release, and the first to feature Steve Morse, the amazing guitarist from the Dixie Dregs. He replaced Ritchie Blackmore. You got just remarkable stuff on this one. Steve Morse really added to the band and brought a refreshing outlook on it. And of course, with Ian Gillan back, it was just magic stuff. So in between, I'm missing 4 studio albums. I got to find those, but I'm not in too big of a hurry. So I'm missing Abandon, 1998 release, and the last to feature John Lord on keyboards. He would unfortunately eventually pass away. I'm also missing Bananas, 2003 release, the 17th album by the band, and the first to feature Don Airey, the great keyboardist that replaced John Lord on keys. I'm also missing Rapture of the Deep, the 18th studio album by the band, 2005 release, and Now What, which is the 19th album and the 2013 released, produced by Bob Ezrin, which is a great producer. I do have Infinite, the 20th studio album, one of my favorites again, 2017 release with the Mark IV lineup, or 5, you lose track after a while. But yeah, what a great album this one is. Sounds so good. Again, produced by Bob Ezrin. And then they put out this amazing album in Whoosh, 2020 release, 21st studio album. Again, it ends with End the Address, which was their very first song that they ever put out way back when, their very first album, featuring all these guys on here. Also comes with a Blu-ray or a DVD. This happens to be a Blu-ray. First half is Roger Glover and Bob Ezrin talking about the album, discussing each song, and then the second half is an amazing concert in France about showing these guys and how good they are. Just remarkable stuff. And the album sounds fantastic. Really happy to have that one. And then finally, they released this amazing album here. This is all covers. One of the first albums to feature just all covers. Turning to Crime, it's called. 21st or 22nd studio album by the band. 2021 release. And amazing stuff. These guys are to a point where they don't really need to do anything. I mean, you know, they're multi-millionaires. But I love the the pictures, you know, kind of mug shots. There's Ian Gillan. He's what, 76 or 7? I know all these guys are up in their 70s. Ian Pace, Roger Glover, Steve Morse, and Don Airy. Just wonderful, wonderful stuff. So they do amazing covers. So 7 and 7 is written by Arthur Lee, sorry, and recorded by the band Love in 1966. They do a great cover of that one. Rockin' Pneumonia and the Boogie Woogie Flu, original hit by Henry Piano Smith way back in 1957. Also covered by Johnny Rivers in 72. And by the Crickets, Aerosmith, Grateful Dead. I mean, so many bands have covered that track. Oh Well, a great original by Fleetwood Mac, written by Peter Green. Fantastic stuff. The lead by Steve Morrison, that was just fantastic. Jenny Take a Ride by Mitch Ryder and Detroit Wheels, 1967 release. Watching the River Flow, Blues Rocks On by Bob Dylan, 1971 release. Let the Good Times Roll, Jump Blues song written in 1946 by Louis Jordan, 12-bar blues song. Just good. They do a wonderful version of Dixie Chicken by Little Feat. I love their version. Lowell George, amazing stuff. 1972, but these guys just rock it out on that one. They do a Yardbird cover, Shape of Things, one of the Yardbird's best hits, 1966 release. They do a Battle of New Orleans, big 1959 hit by Jimmy Driftwood. They do a Bob Seger track, Lucifer, on the album Mongrel. They do White Room by Cream. And it ends with a medley of Cognac, Going Down, Green Onions, Hot Atlanta, Dazed and Confused, and Gimme Some Lovin'. Great album. There's the guys there. Really good stuff. Deep Purple at its best. And again, one of my all-time favorite bands ever. There you have it, guys. Join me on the Larry Graves or the Canadian Stuff Muffin Show later today at 4 p.m. featuring the great Glenn Calloway from the Basement and Sam St. John as we discuss the Get Back documentary that's airing on Disney Plus. Fantastic stuff. Anyway, guys, have yourself a wonderful day. Thank you so much. Take care. Love you all. Bye now.